Before we end this chapter, let us come to a very interesting circuit where we have an op-amp and a capacitor. Not only an op-amp and a capacitor, but with a resistor as well. Um why would we need such a circuit? Uh, is something you can read from the book, or I am going to describe it in a while. But look at this configuration and let us try to imply our knowledge of op-amps and circuit analysis and try to come up with an expression for the output of this circuit. So we have a capacitor here in this circuit in the feedback path. We have the output voltage. Remember, in an op-amp, the output voltage does not depend on the load resistor that is connected between the output terminal and ground. The inverting input is connected to a source through a resistor. Let us say this is R1. This is a feedback capacitor, so let us represent it with denoted with CF, F for feedback. We have a input applied to this terminal, Vs, the source voltage, and that's it. This is a configuration. Now our interest is to find VO in terms of Vs, the output in terms of the input. So can you see that this is a two terminal element, this is a two terminal element, and we already know how to handle op-amp circuits. So let us employ all those techniques. So we know this is directly grounded, this has 0 volts here, and this node is also at 0 volt. Because of ideal op-amp characteristics, these two voltages must be same for an ideal op-amp model. And since this is directly grounded, it is at 0 volts, so this must be at 0 volts. It's not, although it's not directly connected to the ground, but this is something known as a virtual ground. And if we apply node voltage method here, so we can write the expression at this voltage for an NVA equation: 0 minus Vs over R1, the outward current, and this outward current, plus the expression for current for a capacitor is, remember, I is equal to C dV by dt. So the expression that we are going to get here is CF and D 0 minus V naught. Here V is small because this may be a function of time. Dt is equal to 0. So what do we get here is minus Vs over R1 plus minus Cf dV naught by dt equal to 0. So if we take this on the other side and keep dV naught by dt here, we are going to get minus 1 over R1 Cf Vs. And if we integrate both sides with respect to time, we are going to get V naught here, V naught at t actually, minus V naught at some initial time t naught is equal to an integral from t naught to t of minus 1 over R1 Cf Vs. So let us say this Vs is a function of time as well, dt. So here you can also say that this dt goes here. So here the integration is with respect to time, and here the integration will be with respect to V naught. So that is actually what happens. Oh, I skipped saying it. So we are going to get this thing. We have done this extensively in those capacitors and integrate inductor videos. So on the same lines, we can solve this. So we are going to get V naught, the output voltage that we were looking for, is equal to the integral, and this minus 1 over R1 CF is a constant, comes out of the expression, and Vs, the integral of Vs, plus the value of output at T naught. So this is the expression that we were actually looking for. So if this T naught is a time, say, of convenience, T naught is 0, and suppose the output at 0 was, say, 0, and suppose the values of R1 and CF are such that this thing is equal to minus 1. Suppose, say, R1 is 1 mega ohm and CF is 1 microfarad capacitor. Then 1 mega into 1 micro basically is 1. So 1 over 1 is 1 minus 1. Then we will get V naught T to be equal to the negative of an integral from 0 to T of Vs. And this is 0. So what do we get? The input has been integrated and inverted to find the output. This is something known as an integrator. So this is an integrator circuit. If we have capacitor in the feedback path, then we get an integrator. Obviously, you might think of this thing that if we have an inductor here in the feedback path, we may get a differentiator. That's true. But usually in circuits, inductors are not liked because of their bulky size and because of the fact that inductors cannot be made into the integrated circuits, ICs, whereas the capacitors can be made into ICs based on that, the capacitance of the PN junction. So capacitors are liked in op-amp circuits, but inductors are not. Inductors are never liked in any circuits. They are just only used where it is very necessary to use them. Otherwise, if possible, they are not used. So if instead we have the capacitor here at the input and the feedback path has the resistor, we just swap the position of the two. We have a resistor in the feedback path and a capacitor in at the input. Can you now do all this analysis and find that in this case, um, the output, the expression for the output, which I am not going to prove here, but we can very easily find it to be equal to minus Rf into C1 to dVs by dt. So what do we get here? The input is being differentiated and inverted to get the output. Obviously, if Rf and into C1 is equal to 1, like for these values, we are going to get a pure differentiator, although with an inverted result. So this is something known as a differentiator. So this is a very interesting application of an op-amp circuit. And why would we need integrators? For example, we may be interested in finding um, the acceleration from velocity. So we have a velocity sensor connected in a vehicle, and we want to find the acceleration. We know that velocity is basically the derivative of acceleration with respect to time, and acceleration is integral of velocity with respect to time. So if we have a velocity sensor, we can connect this the velocity sensor here at the input, and at the output we are going to get the acceleration at that time. So and there are several other uses. It does not really depend what you want to do with it, but as long as you need an integrator, you have one.